Make a plan, work the plan. Make a plan, work the plan. Make a plan, work the plan. And whenever the plan doesn't work, you change the plan. That's called failure. It's called learning a lesson. It's called adjusting on the run. You are not going to have a perfect plan from start to finish just because you thought of an idea. When we talk about the what if story you're telling yourself, the what if story you're trying to justify your fear with, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. If you do the work and you do it for a long enough time and you have at least average intelligence, you will be successful.
You don't know everything, all right? Let's just get it right out there on the table. Most people's egos are so inflated and so fragile that they won't allow people to see them be bad at something. I see every day people with this mentality that the world owes them something. Don't say, wow, that guy's so lucky. Say, hey, that's a fortunate dude. He's very fortunate.
As cool as you might think my life is, I have a recurring nightmare that I've had for 26 years. I'm somehow walking outside a stadium, a baseball stadium, and I can hear them announcing the starting lineup to a baseball game. I'm not kidding you. And I can hear the music playing and they say, leading off in center field, number 8. And I know it's me. I played center field here and I let off, right? Number 8, Eddie Milet. And I hear him yelling, ah, but I can't get in the stadium. I'm like, I'm supposed to be playing, right? Like I'm supposed to be, and I cannot get in the door. Like I'm running around the stadium. Look, I'm in my uniform. I'm in. They're like, we don't know who you are, man. I'm like, no, you need to let me in. They just announced me. I'm the starting center fielder, man. They're like, I'm sorry, man. We don't know who you are. You can't play. And then every single time I have the dream, I lap around the stadium trying to get back in to the game, except I can't get in. This is a true story. I'm 47 years old. I had this dream last month. I had it the month before that. I had it the month before that, okay? And then I wake up. It's a nightmare. Every time I'm in the dream, I know I'm having it, but I can't get out of it. And the reason I have that dream is because I miss playing so much. And the real reason I have the dream is because when I was here, listen to me, okay? When I was here, I did not give it everything I had. Over and over and over again, you must be working on how great you think you are, what you're worthy of, what you deserve. Because you get out, the way you change your identity is this. You change your identity, listen to me on this, remember this when I leave. You change your identity because it's based on what you believe you're worth, what you believe you deserve. We take it more serious, we have more fun, we're laughing our asses off, but we are out working everybody in the conference, everybody in the country. We hit the gym that way, we stretch that way. You become a team nobody wants to play. Now, if you did that, you know what starts to happen to this team? You start to believe you deserve stuff you probably aren't good enough to get. You will literally win games you're not supposed to win. This team outworks everybody in their at-bat. They battle on every pitch when they're in the bat. I want you to think about that for a minute. I mean, what if you didn't give away a single freaking pitch all year batting? Not one dude. You grind every pitch, you battle every pitch. What if someone would have told me this when I was here? Battle every pitch, man. Every pitch is a fight. Every pitch is a battle. It's you, it's a team, but it's you and the dude with the wrong lid on the mound. Battle his ass.
Here's the deal. You want to know why most people can never get anywhere in life? Why most people never live, never experience, never build, never do anything worthwhile in life besides being average and let me know, an average broke. You know why? Because most people's egos are so inflated and so fragile that they won't allow people to see them be bad at something. Okay? Let that sink in. You've never done something before. You expect yourself to be awesome at it. You haven't done the work. You haven't put in the time. You haven't put in the study hours. You haven't had the experience, but you expect to be good. And because you expect to be good, but you know you're not going to be good, you don't do anything. Explain that shit to me, okay? You want to be somebody who succeeds. You want to be somebody who builds something. You want to be somebody who people write books about one day. You are going to have to be okay with being bad at shit for a long time. When I first started in business, I didn't even know what the fuck I was selling. Okay, I remember the first person coming in, they came in for a product that it was called Cell Tech by a company called Muscle Tech. They came in, the dude obviously didn't buy it. It wasn't our first sale. He came in and asked me about it. I didn't even know what the fuck it was. Okay, but I didn't care because I was going to figure it out. All right. And that's the mentality you guys have to have. You have to be okay with looking like an idiot for a long time. And a lot of you guys, you'd rather be too cool for school. You'd rather be the cool kids at the high school lunch table than be the person who actually goes out, takes a leap of faith, decides they're going to try something new, and actually becomes an expert at it over time. Guys, you have to be okay not being good at shit, all right? Every valuable lesson that you're going to come across in your life is going to come from you something up, aka failing, all right? And I hate failing as much as the next guy. Dude, I probably hold the record for the most broken Nintendo controllers on the face of the earth because I hate losing. And if I ever find the person that wrote Zelda, they're going to get a knuckle sandwich because I can never beat that game. But that's the point, okay? I hate to lose. But the thing is that once you understand that every time you lose, it's an opportunity for you to not only learn that lesson, but take it a +1 step. Okay, listen to what I just said. A +1 step past the lesson, you'll start to appreciate those lessons. You'll start to be okay with not being good at shit. Guys, you don't want to be the guy that we talk about on the podcast who's 37 years old, living in mom's basement, yelling at her for a hot pocket, okay? You trolling people on the internet. You don't want to be that guy. And if you don't want to be that guy, you're going to have to understand that losing is a part of ultimately winning. You're going to lose a lot more than you win. And when you win, you're going to figure out how to get better on top of it. If you're a true winner, they don't celebrate their wins. True winners take the win and they say, how could I have even gotten better? How could I have ran the score up? How could I have won by twice as many points? So you never really feel like you win. And you have to be okay with that. Okay? There's not one thing that I don't look at in my life and say, man, how could I get better at that? How could I win at that? How could I run the score up on that? That's how much I love to win. But I look at every single loss. I've learned to look at every single loss as an opportunity of how to win more. And that's what you need to do too. You don't look at it like, hey, everybody's going to point and laugh. And they might point and laugh. I could tell you a list a mile long of people who have told me, Andy, you still got that little vitamin shop? Andy, what are you trying to be? Tony Robbins? Andy, when are you going to get a real job? Those are the same asking me for jobs now. All right? You guys have to understand that if you are willing to be bad at you will have the last laugh on these same people that we're talking about.
In business, you can become a lot happier person if you begin to listen less to what people tell you they're going to do and focus much more intently on what they actually do. It's interesting, you have friends all your life and then you go through an event like this and you learn who your real friends are. Any of you that ever been through a trial in your life or a difficult time, in my case it was a health issue recently, it's during those times when people actually physically step up and show you that they're your friend that you learn the most about them. It's not someone telling you I love you or hey buddy, care about you. It's when you need them, are they there? It's what they do. Friendship is an action. It's an active thing. It's not a state of being. And I learned a lot this last month or so about, some folks frankly surprised me that reached out and were there for me, and maybe people I didn't even know would be that don't always verbalize it, but physically they're friends. And then there's other people that, you've probably had this happen too, that you go through an event and you're surprised by those that that weren't there, that didn't call, that didn't seem to care. And so you learn a lot by what people do. I've learned who my real friends are the last few weeks, and it's been a great experience. I have more friends than I thought I had, which is a good thing. But there were a few folks who I thought were my friends, and maybe they're not. And they certainly didn't act like friends. So, but how's it relate to business? Well, you know, you get let down an awful lot by people by listening to them. You know, I've been training people now for 20-something years, and boy, I tell you, people talk a good game. People tell you, hey, this is my time. I'm going to get 5 of these this month, or I'm going to write 10 of those, regardless of the business you're in. If you're training or leading people in any way, or you're on a sales organization, or if you're part of our organization, people talk constantly. And if you're not careful, you begin to actually listen to them. You begin to actually believe what people tell you they're going to do, or how they actually feel. All you've got to really do is watch what they do. What you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear a word you're saying. And you need to embody that yourself in business, because you start to act differently based on what people tell you. If someone tells you, hey, I'm feeling great, I'm going to do big things, maybe you don't do as much yourself, or maybe you don't go get that next recruit, or maybe you don't go write that extra sale or fight for that extra inch because of what other people have told you they're going to do. And furthermore, sometimes even leading people, don't listen so much to what they tell. People are going to tell you what you want to hear. People tell you, I feel great, things are good. Well, the truth is, what did they do last month? How much money did they make? How much business did they write? Because that's really going to indicate whether they're going to be with you long term or not. I mean, if someone's not making money, if they're not recruiting people, if they're not writing a lot of business, they're on their way out the door, not on their way staying. No matter what they tell you, I'm in for life, I'm committed, you can depend on me. The bottom line is, what did they do last month? How much money did they really make? What did they really save? Are they actually behind on their bills? Are they current on things? And so pay more attention to what people do than what they say, and you will have a much better barometer of what's really going on in your business.
I think it's important for people to understand that anytime you step out of what's normal in society, you're going to have criticism. So many people follow the traditional plan with no thought whatsoever as to what they really want to do in life. You know, they go to school, they go to high school, they go to college, they get a degree, they get married, they have kids, and then they wake up at 40 years old wondering, what the f*** happened? And where did my life go? And when I think about those things, I think about how much criticism we got when we started our first company when we were only 19 years old to do all the things that you're supposed to do in society. You know, all the people that used to tell us, you guys are wasting your time, you need to get a degree, you need to get a real job, you need to quit, you know, wasting your time with this hobby. And those are the same people now that, you know, they're telling us how good of a job we did and how proud we are. And I think about that a lot. And I think people don't realize that the same criticism that they get for doing anything outside of what's considered normal, that goes for anybody that tries anything outside of what's normal. And I think people need to realize that people are gonna talk shit, they're gonna criticize. But what's more important? What's more important is that you do what it is you think you need to do instead of changing your path for everybody else's happiness. Because the reality is the people who judge you on doing anything different are the same people who can't do it themselves. And I feel like so many people get so wrapped up into what other people think that they ruin their entire lives living a life that they don't even want to live. Everybody's got to find their own path. And you have to realize that when you get on that path, you're going to fuck up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have bad fuck-ups, like really bad. But as long as you're willing to learn and you're willing to take those as lessons about, and you're smart enough to not make those same mistakes over and over and over again, there's really nothing that you can't do.
I'm going to tell you right now, either you're going to control your time or your time's going to control you. Either you are going to dictate the terms of your life or you're going to be someone who reacts and responds throughout their life. This device right here can both speed up time in your life or it can slow it down. It's not always a speed tool. So one of the tips that I've covered before, but not enough people implement, that I promise you is a quality of max out performers that relates to their time, is they control it. They do not react and respond. They dictate the terms of their life most of the time. And that means this: when you wake up in the morning, the greatest thing you could do for yourself is not touch or look at this device for 30 minutes to an hour after awakening. So that when you wake up, you take control of your time. You control the time. You control the beginning of the day. You get clear, you meditate, you pray, you stretch, you think, you go through a gratitude exercise. You control the first 30 minutes of your day. It sets a tone that I'm in charge of my time, not what enters this. If the first thing you do is grab this now dictates the term of your day. This controls my day. What hits this, what email, what text, what call hits this, what Instagram post hit this controls me. It controls my time. But if you can stay away from it for the first 30 minutes to an hour, you send a message to your brain, to yourself, that you control time, that this day is on your terms. And again, you stack up a day, a week, a month, a year, 5 years of a lifetime of you controlling and dictating the terms of your life for just the first 30 minutes to an hour every day. I have a show where I interview kind of top achievers, and, you know, athletes, entertainers, business people. And when I started the show, I thought it's gonna be fascinating to find out what they all have in common. Is it hard work, brilliance, charisma? And frankly, it's a skosh of unhappiness, because achievers, even people like yourself, and this is people that are out there like that too, should consider this. We have this thing where we're really never living up to what we think we're capable of. And that's a good thing, because it pulls us to get better, but it can also be a formula for misery if you never just decide. You know, a lot of achievers think, well, if I enjoy this moment right now, I'm gonna lose my drive. I'm gonna lose my ambition. So they cheat themselves for all of the joy, all of the juice that comes from winning. And I found if you give yourself that dopamine hit when you achieve something, you allow yourself to enjoy it, your brain wants to do it again and again and again. But if you rob yourself of it, that's when burnout starts to happen, because you're not giving yourself any of the rewards for your hard work. The coins flip on each other all the time, don't they? Another form of distraction is just doubt, and doubt comes from the suffer. It comes from a loss. It comes from fear. It comes from the sacrifice. And so just remember this: you're supposed to suffer and sacrifice. So let me ask you a question. What are you willing to risk in order to make your dream come true? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You're going to take a risk. Maybe it's financial. Maybe it's a risk of time. Maybe it's a risk at your job. Maybe it's a risk of looking bad. Maybe it's a risk of failing, of falling on your face, of going broke, of going through pain, of going through anxiety. Maybe it's even a risk in a relationship that's just going to be difficult while you do this. What are you willing to risk in order to win? And you have to accept that, because remember what I'm going to tell you. The price you will pay for not making your dream come true is far greater than the one that you will pay to make it come true. Want me to say it again? The price you will pay, the suffering you will go through to make your dream come true is incredibly small, infinitely smaller than the price you will pay if you never do. You'll pay that one the rest of your life. And so ask yourself what you're willing to risk. What's the price you're willing to pay?
I see every day people with this mentality that the world owes them something. And it's popular now to talk about entitlement and everybody deserves and all these different things that people like to bitch and cry about. But people come at life with the wrong attitude, okay? And they don't like hearing the truth. And the truth of the matter is this: the world owes you nothing. The world doesn't think you're special like your mom does. It doesn't think you're a delicate little flower. It doesn't care about you. Now, with that being said, the world doesn't hate you. It doesn't want you to fail. It just is, okay? And I see so many people going through their life with this overwhelming feeling of either A, the world owes me something, or B, the world hates me. And the reality is it's neither. And what's common amongst this group of people that I find is that, both these groups of people that I find, is that they're missing the understanding of what it means to be successful. And let me get at exactly what the cause of this is. The cause of this is they're selfish. They're self-centered. They're self-focused. They're only worried about what they see in the mirror, and they go around through their daily life trying to manipulate the world in a way that's going to serve them. But here's the thing, guys, if that's the way you go through life, if you go through life trying to figure out a way for the world to get you something, for you to be successful, at the expense of others, or for you to get ahead at the expense of others, your success or any success that you're able to build or momentum you're able to build is going to be very short-lived, guys. And that's not the right way to do things, okay? That's why you see the same people, who make money real fast, lose money real fast. That's why you see the same people who, have a little bit of success and then go back to the way they were. And then they might find a new quote unquote thing to do. And they make a little bit of money and they go back to the way they were. And the problem with this mentality, guys, is that it's a mentality that is not of service, okay? And if you want to be truly successful in life, you have to be selfless, and you have to understand that being selfless and being of service to other people is the only true way to find long-term success. So many people in life, we all know these guys, right? They peaked in high school, they were prom king, they were quarterback of the team, and they go through life and you see them 10 years later and they're sitting at the bar on a Tuesday with their male pattern baldness, and they're like, bro, back in the day I was the man, and they can't pay their bills, they're driving a hunk of shit, and they turn into basically a complete accelerated version of themselves, which is a douchebag. And they haven't done anything with their lives, right? And we see these people all the time, and the reason these people don't progress is because they focus on the glory days. They focus on the things they have achieved in the past, and they don't let themselves work towards a better future. And guys, you have to be able to look at yourself and be honest with yourself on this. If this is you, you have to stop this behavior, okay? When you focus on what you did last year, or what you did 2 years ago, or what you did last month, or the award I won at the company function, or the sales numbers that I hit and beat everybody on the squad, or whatever. When you focus on this shit, guys, that is energy that you could be putting into actually improving and focusing on the task at hand, which is today. Okay? Champions don't sulk in, Kobe Bryant doesn't sit there and talk about how many MVPs he's won or how many championships he's won. No, the is up at 3 o'clock in the morning practicing every day. Why do you think he is so great? He's not great because he's great. He's great because he puts the work in on a daily basis, and he wins every day. Too many of you and too many people in society fall back on the word luck, not knowing the circumstances of someone else's success. You see big things, you hear big things, you see people who do big things, and you automatically say, wow, that guy's so lucky. Wow, she's so lucky. Wow, that's so lucky that happened. You don't know that. You're assuming that. And let me tell you how insulting that sounds to somebody who has literally grinded their off to build something worthwhile, okay? I'm gonna ask you one thing from this podcast, is to substitute from now on the word luck for the word fortunate, okay? Don't say, wow, that guy's so lucky. Say, hey, that's a fortunate dude. He's very fortunate, okay? There's a big difference in how that sounds and what that means and the metaphysical implications that stand behind your belief system when you say that. When you say, oh, that guy got lucky, you're telling the universe and you're telling yourself subconsciously that you believe that you are not in control of your circumstances. And guess what? If that's what you believe, you aren't. But when you say, hey, that guy's very fortunate, you know what you're saying? You're saying, I believe in control. I believe that I am in control, and I believe that the consequences of my actions are in my control. And there is a big difference, not just in how you sound, because you sound like an ignorant asshole when you say people are lucky that they have worked their asses off. But there's a big difference in what the universe hears and what will play out when you use the different terms of fortunate versus lucky. So I'm going to ask you guys to please stop using the word luck when you talk about other people's success and use the term fortunate. It's going to help you out. It's going to help out your results, and it's going to make you sound like not an asshole. Okay. So because right now I know there's this guy, right, that he's listening. He's saying, but Andy, there is such a thing as luck. There is luck. Well, no, there's luck. Like when you're riding your bicycle down the road and a car hits a puddle of oil and does a donut and misses you by an inch, like we all see on these videos on Facebook, that's luck, right? But going to work every day for 20 years and grinding your ass off and then becoming a multimillionaire, that's not luck. All right, that's action and result. That's action and reaction. That's not luck, okay? You weren't there pointing at this dude who has the life that you want. You weren't pointing out how lucky he was when he couldn't pay his bills. You weren't pointing out how lucky he was when he got evicted from his house trying to build this business. How about when he made less than what you made for the first 15 years holding on to his dream? You weren't there saying he was lucky. How about at night when he's crying to his wife about how stressed he is and how hard his life is and how he's going to be homeless if he doesn't pick up the results at work? You weren't there saying, oh, he's lucky. You weren't there when he couldn't take a solid for 5 years saying, oh man, that dude's really lucky, or when his girlfriend left because he's a loser. Or how about when he's working at 2 a.m.? Or how about when he's working on weekends and holidays when you're out celebrating with your family? Where were you? You weren't saying he's lucky, okay? You don't know what lucky is because you don't know the story. So quit using the word luck and start using the word fortunate. It's going to do you a favor. It's going to do you a service in how you think about results. And it's going to make you sound like not such an asshole, because there's nothing more insulting to somebody who grinded their ass off than when someone says he got lucky or you're so lucky. It makes me want to punch you in the eye. All right. Quit using the word luck. Quit believing in luck, because it doesn't exist in terms of action and reaction. And start believing in work. Start believing in fortunate. Start believing in results that come from your actions. And when you do that and you wholeheartedly believe it, guess what? That's what starts to happen. What is the other thing that kills success? All right. And it is this mentality, guys, especially for you guys who are employees looking to create value amongst yourselves within a company. And some business owners do this too, believe it or not. But they have the mentality that they're going to show up, they're going to put in their time, they're going to do the bare minimum, okay, of what is expected of them and what they are paid for, okay? So there's a difference here that I want to delineate for you guys, all right? There are people who show up to work and hide in the corner and don't do shit and expect to keep their job. Then there are people who show up to work, put in the effort, do what they're paid to do, and then go home and talk about how great of a employee or an asset they are to the company. All right, guys, look, newsflash. You are paid to do that shit. You cannot come to work and expect to do what you are paid to do and expect to become an extremely valuable, extremely important, extremely appreciated asset to a company, especially a growing company that is moving forward. Guess what? You're going to have to do more. And nobody likes to hear that shit because they think, oh, that's more work. Well, hey, look at it this way. What you do and what you're expected to do pays the bills. What you do on top of that and the investments you make at home in reading, personal development, extra that you could bring to the company, ideas, the extra things, that's an investment in your future. All right. So you have what pays the bills now, and then you have what's going to pay the bills 20 years from now. All right. And you have to think about that now so that in 20 years from now, you're not going back and saying, man, I wish I would have done that. Because that's something that so many young people think. They they got their $400 a month apartment. They go out on the weekends. They they've got wine, they've got beer, they've got a little weed, they smoke it, and they think they got life made. And the reality is dude, you do not have life made, because if you don't put in the extra shit on top of what is expected and what you're paid to do, you're gonna be doing that same shit when you're 40. Because the myth that life is going to automatically manifest this whatever dream that it is you have is not going to happen. You're not going to flip the switch at 30 years old and have the big house, nice cars, and a fat bank account just because you wished it. You got to put in the work now, and that work compounds and accumulates and puts you in a position to have that opportunity when you are of that age. If you guys are 20 years old and you're saying, oh, this guy's old and he's blah, 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 I'm talking out of experience. This doesn't just happen. So many of you young think that this just happens. You think, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna put in my time, and then I'm gonna be rich, and I'm gonna be balling like Rick Ross, and all these. And that ain't what happens. You know what's likely gonna happen with that attitude? You're gonna be 37 years old, living in your mom's basement, yelling at her for some meatloaf. That's what's gonna happen. All right? So guys, you've got to do more. You've got to become valuable. You've got to understand that what you get paid to do is the minimum. And everything on top of that is your investment in your future.